Wonderful, wonderful. Sorry about that. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be in this space at such a short notice. I would like to say welcome, everyone. Welcome. My name is Bisi Imonitie. Like Natalie introduced, I'm a reinvention strategist. I work with professionals and entrepreneurs, and my role really is to help people to reinvent their mindsets. And so today, what I want to share with you is something that is really deep in my heart, something that I share all the time. I find myself sharing this all the time. And it's really about reinventing yourself. And so one of the things I ask people is to really consider what it means to be you. And it feels like it's a funny question to ask, but who are you to yourself? Who are you to people around you? Who are you in your role? Who are you in your world? How many times have you wished you could just bring your A game to life? You could be better at what you do. How many times have you found yourself waking up in the middle of the night, wishing you had a different job, a different boss, a different income? How many times have you wished you could secure your next promotion at work? You could get that grant or get that client. And we keep wishing and wishing and thinking that our wishes will just manifest, right? Because I was in that stage myself. At some point in my life, I thought, I wanted more. I wanted, I just knew there was more within me 10 years ago. I knew that the Bisi that showed up at work was not the total package. I knew that the Bisi that showed up at work needed more, wanted to be recognized, wanted to contribute, wanted to, to bring my A game to life. The gifts, the talents, the opportunities that I've had, I wanted to bring it to life. I wanted to help people more. But I found that there was something stopping me. I found that I couldn't bring all of myself. I couldn't bring all of my abilities. I couldn't shine the way I wanted to shine. Not just because I wanted to show, but just to shine, just to know yourself as someone that makes a profound difference in other people's lives. And so that's how my journey started to reinventing. Apart from the fact that I moved to Australia about, 18 years ago, which is a story of reinvention on its own. But actually, the real reinvention process for me started about 10 years ago when I found myself stuck in a world that I couldn't operate the way I wished I could operate. And I discovered that what was stopping me was me. Yes, it was me. I was the one stopping myself. And how was I stopping myself? Well, stopping myself because I had this conversations going on in my mind about who I was. So even though I wanted to, even though I wished I could be, even though I knew that I had dreams, I knew that I had big goals, I knew that I had talents, but the box in which I operated, the box that I put myself, the box that I allowed people to put me into, the organization I was working in, the past experience I've had in my life, the box I allowed myself to be put in didn't allow me to grow. I needed to break out of the box. And how did I start to break out of the box? It was really to start to examine the conversations I was having with myself. Who am I for myself? Oftentimes, when you go into networking opportunities, like networking, meetings, or you actually just meet people and say, what do you do? Have you really listened to how people respond? Because that's how I responded as well, especially because we're conditioned to think like that, right? If you think about how people respond in a networking environment, you've probably found yourself doing the same thing. I've done the same thing. They ask you, what do you do? We answer with a question of who we are. And oftentimes, the answer that comes back is not so much who you really are, it's more of your job title. I'm an engineer. I'm an HR. Are you really an HR person? Is that all you are? Are you really a doctor? Is that all you are? There is more to who you are. And there's more, and I realized there was more to who I was. And so I had to start the journey of discovering me for me. Not being selfish, but just knowing me. Because I'd been conditioned with all these boxes that were stopping me, that were making me feel stuck. And until I started to examine my conversations with myself, what do I say to myself? When there's an opportunity, what do I say to myself? When there isn't, what do I say to myself daily? What words do I entertain? Like when I say entertain, like literally entertain them, what's my internal dialogue about me? And I started the research journey on me because I'd done all research studies on other people's papers. But guess what? It was not being researched, me. And so I started the research journey. And the research was for me a rediscovering, was for me an uncovering, was for me discovery. And so until I started to unpack that and come to who Bisi really was, and actually date Bisi for who Bisi really is, right? I didn't really get to know who I was. I was what people thought about me. I was what experiences thought about me. I was what other organizations thought about me. Put you in a box and that's who you are. That's your employee number and that's who you are. That's how you get paid. And so the journey for me has been a journey of reinvention. And that's what I teach, but also that's what I live by. I don't only teach it, but I live by it because I'm constantly reinventing who I am for myself. And I want you to jump on this movement. For me, it's a movement because I'm leading this movement. I know other people are talking about it in different ways, but it's really about reinventing who you are. And the reinvention starts with a rediscovery. It starts with you thinking about who you are for yourself. It's really about creating new possibilities for yourself in your life. It's really about thinking about the ways you've been and inventing new ways of thinking, feeling, and acting. It's really about transforming your current realities to the future realities you truly desire. It's really about, when you think about it, your life as it is now is based on your past experiences. And guess what? It would continue to be like that in the future. And until you change something about who you are, when I say change, I don't mean, until you change who you are right now for yourself, or really discover who you are for yourself, you will continue to be locked in the past. Because your past will not only just be in your past, it will be in your present and it will be in your future. Because you're going to make decisions based on, last time, this is what I did, this is how I did it. And I'm going to do the same thing the same way. When I ask you to reinvent, when I say to reinvent, I mean reinvent who you are for yourself. Stop living your life based on the past. Appreciate the past, acknowledge the past, but create new realities for yourself. Create new future for yourself, for your kids, for people around you. And one thing I would say that I know that where reinvention starts, it starts with being authentic with yourself. It gets to a point in your life you realize that you're tired and frustrated of being tired and frustrated, and you want something more. And that's the point where you start to rediscover yourself. And so when I say reinvent, it's a framework around review, research who you are, audit it, discover, develop, and deliberate practice. But also there's one thing I usually like to talk about all the time. And I think when I share this analogy, it may make sense to you. And this is really connected to who you are for yourself. So when you think about the results you want in your life right now and the results you're getting, there's a gap between both. And you're worried about how do you bridge the gap for yourself? Like, how do I really get this? Because this is what I really want. And the key to that is to really start to change the conversations you're having with yourself. Change your internal dialogue about yourself. Because every time you say that thing to yourself, you are affirming who you are for yourself. And if you want a different result, you've got to change the conversations you're having with yourself. Do you want a mocktail that's bitter, sour? Or do you want a mocktail that's refreshing and sweet? It's up to you. You get to choose. Now, the analogy I want to share with you is when you think about an orange fruit, right? The process of getting a fruit is planting the seed. And so when you plant a seed, an orange seed, you get an orange result. When you plant a lemon seed, you get a lemon result. And it's up to you to choose. But you can't plant a lemon seed and expect an orange fruit to show up. Even though the seeds are the same, the results are different. The fruits are different. And so the key is really planting the seed that you want. And the question I ask you, what seeds are you planting in your life? Are they the results you want or not? If they're not, then it's time to change the seeds you're planting. And it starts with your internal dialogue. It starts with the conversations you have with yourself. Thank you very much. If you want to know more about me, please visit me on LinkedIn and also on my social media platforms. And I'm Dr. Bisi Imonitie on the platforms. Thank you.